What's up, y'all? John here with Superfly, BeSuperfly.com to check out Divi themes plugins. In this tutorial, I had a client lately who wanted a kind of like a main tagline showing, and I had done an older site for him that was an HTML template that had a fading in and out background image behind this tagline on his old site. And he's like, hey, I'd like that to be on my new site. And at first I was like, well, I don't know if Divi can do that. And then I actually found a tutorial from Mac that showed how to do it. And so I'm going to redo it here in this one, and then also add some CSS stuff to try to get this to work with our header and footer down here as well, and how I'd go about that. So we're going to go for something kind of like this. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm a completely blank slate here. And I'm just going to add a new section, the full width section here, and we're going to do a full width slider. Then I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this guy really quick. I'm going to go ahead and add a new slide. And I have something here for my heading here. Actually, I'm going to put this down in the content because I want to be able to control this a little bit. I'm going to turn on the visual builder back here. Great. Okay. Okay, I want this aligned over here. And I'm going to use Playfair Display for my font. Regular's fine. I'm going to beef this body size up quite a bit. It's like 60. And my line height, let's do that around 1.1 usually. And then I'm actually going to have the adventure awaits in all caps, or maybe like that. I'm gonna do that there, and then this guy I might. Yeah, that looks good. And I think I'm going to bring my line height down a little bit more here. Okay, that's looking pretty good. And then for the background, actually I'm going to go into this individual slide here. The background here, I'm going to make this guy black. And then I've already preloaded some background, these 4 background images here. So I'm going to use this one first. And then I'm going to go into the overlay here. And just, I'm going to pick something around here. Turn this down like so. Okay, that's good so far. And then I'm going to give this an ID. I'm just going to call it Hero Slider. Or we'll use a class, since we might use it in multiple parts of our site here. I'm going to go ahead and save this, and then in my style sheet, I'm just going to write down that class name I had. That way I have it down for future reference here. So I'm going to get this first slide looking right, and then we'll we'll move forward. Okay, so first thing I want to do here also is get my formatting on my text correct here. So I'm going to, I want this to be on the next line like so. Okay, that's starting to look good, and then I want it to take up you make it full height here. Let me see if that's an option here in this guy. So I don't want to show the controls on this. I don't think I want to show arrows either. I'm not going to link it for design. Yeah, under sizing and spacing, there's not really options there. And then under advanced, so we're going to say height 100 here. Copy this, and I'm just going to put this in. I think I might just add a code module down here for this. Although this might get hard to select in the Visual Builder. Okay, let's go ahead and inspect this guy and see why it didn't like our code there that we did. Here's our section, .hero slider. Oh yeah, our hero slider is doing 100 VH. We want to give our slider the code here. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to call it slider. And then go into my code here and add that. Okay, there we go. That should do it. Sorry about this. I'm kind of just doing it on the fly here. Okay, so now we can check out and see what the deal is. Here's our slider. So it's still going 100 VH. Let's stitch this. Let's see here. It's probably the individual slides that I have to do. Height 100 VH. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so, and you can see 100 is too much because it's not taking into account our header and footer. And so I'm going to scoot this down to maybe to where my footer starts to come in view. So it looks like 82 is kind of the sweet spot at this width anyway. So I'm going to say 82 VH right here. And we need that to be on the ETV slide, ETPV slide here. So let's go ahead and add that. There we go. Okay, so that's looking good. And this is sitting nice. I want it over more to the left though. So I'm going to check out and see what's going on here. So our slide description has some padding here of 16% top and bottom, 8% left and right. So I'm going to get rid of that padding left and right on the slide description. I'm going to copy that. So hero slider dot slider dot the slide description. And it's going to a second line like that because it normally would be up like that. So I'm going to go, that's why it's going down. I'm going to say padding left 0, padding right 0. And we'll see if this does it. I might have to add important after that. So that'll get us to basically like right there. And then it looks like there's some more here. This slide this container here has a max width of 1080 and a width of 80%. So even if I do, so I need to turn this, I'm going to say max width no, max width none. And then I'm going to do my width here to like 100%. That looks good. So the container here. And I'm going to do that up here because the container is above all this other stuff. So dot container, I believe, or dot et underscore pv container. And we're going to say max width none, and then width 100%. All right, let's grab all this code here and put it in and see how it's going to come out here. Great. Now that's cool. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some adjustments for tablet and mobile here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to tablet, and I need to come in and edit my font size here. And actually, I'm going to see if I can't do this at the main level here. So the slider is interesting, right? You have design options here, like body text, you know. But then, if you go into each individual slide, you have more text, overriding text options. So I'm going to try to do these out on the main one, which means when you first open it up, boom, right here. So text, body text, 60, tablet, let's move this down to like 48. Let's see if that's going to work. Yep, I like that. Let's do phone while we're here. We'll go down to 36. Or maybe phone we want it to be more so. I think 36. I like 36. And then I don't like that italicized ampersand anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and unitalicize that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to switch over to code view. And I'm going to make it so that day and night are always on the same line. So I'm going to go get rid of the spacing in between them, and I'm going to type ampersand NBSP semicolon, and I'm going to do that same thing right there. So this is the code that you're putting in. And you'll see what that does is if day goes down to the next line, and night's going to go down too. So for phone, let's say I'm going to do 36 after I unitalicize that. 36 is a little big now, so let's go down here to maybe 32. Or I can say no, I want it like, you know, yeah, 32 is fine for me. Okay, save that. Okay, that looks great. So now we're just going to duplicate this slide. I'm not going to call this slide, it's got the fog there. I'm going to call it fog. And so we'll go ahead and we'll duplicate this one. And we'll give this one a different background. We'll go from the fog to the forest. And then we'll go forest to this cliff. And then lastly, we'll do the city one. So let's call it city. Okay, now let's see what we got here. So we've added 3 new slides, all with the same content. That's important. Oh, and I think I need to turn on automatic. Yeah, I need to turn on the automatic rotation. So I need to figure out what that is. I believe it's under advanced. There we go. 7,000 is fine. Continue on hover is fine. I'll say OK. So now every 7 seconds, that photo should change. Well, the whole slide's going to change. And the text is going to change with it because we haven't told it yet to not do that. So after 7 seconds, we get our next slide and our deal fades in. So basically all we have to do is go into this, to get our text to stay there, we're just going to go into the slider, go to advanced, CSS here, go down to the slide, oh, I think it's the slide description, and add in this animation name none. I believe this is what it needs to go. So let's try this now. So we'll wait 7 seconds here, and hopefully just the background will change. Great. And we already went through and made it all responsive. But now what we're going to do is a couple things. I'm going to make it vertically responsive because our height isn't going to, as we go in and out here of the different heights, you know, now I have to scroll a little bit there, so I can show you how to fix that a bit using some media queries. And then also when it changes images, there's a white, it looks like it goes to white instead of black. So I'm going to fix a couple of those things. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the section. I'm just going to make the background black. And that should make it from the lighter, when images fade out and come back in, it's light right now. That should change it to dark. So let's see here. Yeah, that's nice. That's better. And then now let's just kind of play with the responsive stuff that I was telling you about. So here we have this secondary or footer menu, looks like, and then another sub footer, copyright footer. So I'll just show you what I would normally do for that. So as we go in here, actually for the most part this is great at this height. But you'll see when we switch to responsive mode here, and let's say you know, we go to an iPhone here. So now my whole footer isn't there. I kind of have to scroll. I kind of don't want that. So let me go through and let me just hit this responsive mode here. And I'm going to turn this down a little bit. That way we can. Okay, so it looks like, and I'm watching this height item here. So it looks like all the way, you know, if we get over that 980, it starts to show white underneath. Like here's 987, and then about, you know, 1,000, it starts showing white underneath. So there's a couple of things you could do here. You could give this this page a body class and tell that class to be black, and that it would always match. So for example, and there would be a plugin that you'd have to install for that to give this body a class, which I suppose I can do. I'll do that real quick. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go to plugins. Then we can target this certain page. Because, I mean, you could target it by page ID equals 30785, but if you transfer the site somewhere, that ID is going to change. So this is a little better way of doing this. I'm going to say body class. There's this plugin by Justin Tadlock, or custom classes. Sorry, custom classes. Here we go. So I'm going to install this guy, activate him. Great. And then reload my page here. And you're going to get a new guy over here on the right that says classes, like so. So I could move this guy up here and I could just say, oh, let me try that again. Move this up here. Body class, let's say, you know, slider, body slider, or something like that. Update. And then I could go to my CSS and say body.body slider, that's the class we gave it. Background color, you know, is going to be equal to this one, which I believe is black. But to be sure, I'm going to grab my color picker and go down here and sample this color. Almost black. Good thing I sampled it. So copy all that, go into my code. And let me turn this back on here. Because you don't want someone to be looking on a bigger screen and then they see your page and they see this white underneath. That's kind of like not what you want. So let me refresh this page now. Yeah, and so now you can see that it's going to fill it in with the color of our subfooter, which is great. But I'm going to make this red for the time being, because this is one way you could do it, and I'm going to show you. We'll just make it the worst red possible. But I'm going to show you this other way that you could get a little overboard with, but yeah, the cool thing about this custom classes is you could do CSS just for, you could give a bunch of pages a class of, you know, green accent, and then write CSS to target items on just those pages only that you want green, and it'll do it to kind of give your site a different look and feel. Okay, now we have this red down here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start writing some vertical media queries to tackle this. So up here, you know, at 990, it's great. So then when I get down to, I'm going to go about 50 pixels at a time. When I get down to 1050, not so great. So I'm going to go down here and make a new media query, and I think I'm just going to say max height is 950, let's say. And then I'm going to grab this guy. And actually, this is all, having this all be one deal out is tripping me up a little bit. So let me get rid of this real quick. Let me get all this like in here like that. There we go. Okay. So at media, max height, 950. And then I'm going to grab this guy. And I'm going to change that. Let me find that here. That's the slide. Okay. Let's go in and find one of the slides. Oh, here we go, right here. From 82 to, it looks like 83 is going to be fine. 84 is a little too far. You can see down there I'm starting, but 83. Let's try that. And then we'll see if I did this right. The vertical ones I get a little confused on how to write them. So we'll see if I did this correctly. Yeah, I didn't do it right. Let's see here. Maybe min height. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Because then if I go under 950, which I could probably do 1,000 on that, it's going to jump it back up, which I think I could actually do 1,000, let's say. And obviously there's going to be a limit because people's screens are only going to be so tall or whatnot. Okay, so now down to 1,050 is good, but at 1,050 I'm going to want to change it, and I'm going to go down here to 1,100, and let's see what we got to change it to at 1,050. So I'm going to copy this guy, go to 1,050, and then come up here and say 80, probably 84, I bet. Yeah, 84. And then go in here. Oops, I'm so used to going to this part to add the code up here. And there might be a better way to do this, but this is how I do it. It's the only way I know how to do it. But yeah, now you can see that that's adjusting nicely. That's great. So at the different heights, it's keeping our words there. We'll do one more. We'll go down to 1,200 because I think it's all the space that I have. So anyway, down to 1,200, I bet it's going to be, or at 1,100, I bet we need to change it to 85 probably. And that'll be good. But you can kind of see the pattern here. So like, oops. You know, at 1,000 or 1,100, we're going to do 85. And I think that's going to pretty well cover us for now. I'll look at some other widths here. So it looks great. At that height, you know, it looks, I go slow. And then we're going to change that red to black, so that's going to be minor. Okay, so that's great. Now let me just cruise through some of our defaults. So, you know, on the iPad, you could start to target by width now and say, hey, at 768 width, you know, I want it to be, you know, 80, 82 or whatever. You know, if we go to iPhone 6, 7, 8, here, we'll do this one. Yeah, we'll do at least this one. iPhone 10, let's see here. So, is the iPhone 6, 7, 8 wider? It is. The Plus. So here at the Plus, we're going to say, so 72 looks good, and we're at 414, so I'll just do, I'm going to do 415. And we want 72. And then let's go down to iPhone 6, 7, and 8, which is 375 width, and we'll change it to 69. And then the iPhone 5, which is 320, we'll change it to 63. So 320, 63. And I think there's a way you can combine them, like max width and height is this, then do this. That way you can come at it from both angles. But I've never actually had to do that. I only do this stuff for like the first view of something. Like on this home page, if they really wanted this to be it and these two things to be here and this footer, then I would take more of the care to make sure that it all works correctly. So here at our iPhone 5 now, it looks great by default. 6, 7, 8 looks great. 7 and 8 here. Our 10 is probably not going to be right because, yeah, because earlier we're saying 375 to 69. This is 375, but it's too tall. But we'll have our black fill in down here. Or you could do a media query width and height. I think there's some, yeah, like min width 600 and max width is this, then do this. So we could say, you know, min width is 375 and, you know, a height is whatever. Then do this here. But for now, I'm fine with just saying, hey, make the background this color. And I think this is probably going to do it once we get this in here. I mean, it's the responsive web, so I don't know if it can be, I mean, you can go overboard and do every possible combination, but here in a little bit of time, we just did, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 media queries, and that pretty much covered everything, all of our needs here. If I go down to iPhone 4, who has one of those anymore? You know, they have to, so yeah, they have to scroll a tiny bit, I guess. It's at 320. Or you could write the other height media query for that. But for the most part, it looks like we got everything where we want it. Our text is changing. That is great. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll export this layout and have it in the video description in case you want to use this particular one. But depending on what you got going down here in the footer, you know, it's going to determine those vertical heights. You know, say for example, you don't want the footer to show. So then, you know, you do want them to scroll. You just want this image. You want your header still, and you want this image. Well, then, you know, then you would make adjustments for that. Oops. So, all right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Again, this is John with Superfly. BeSuperfly.com for Divi themes, Divi plugins. Also, check out our membership, to which they got access to the tutorial first for a month before the general public. Check out our membership. It's as low as $15 per month. You get all these great super themes that we have, which are each of these has over 85 sections of the wireframe kit, and then all these other themes that you get. Plus, you get 25% off our store of items that are not in our membership. So be sure to check that out. And then also check out our store, where we have, like I said, Divi plugins, like our pop-up plugin here, and sticky video, our menu and header maker. That's pretty sweet. A lot of people buy that one. H1 through H6 customizer on different tablet, mobile, and whatnot. For site-wide, that's popular. My favorite, probably Divi Background Plus. I use that one on almost every single site. And then there's some before and after module. Yeah, there's some sweet stuff there. Check it out. Image Intense, which we just redid. So that's for Visual Builder. That's pretty sweet. And then our child themes, which range from some big ones here that come with tons of layouts and sections, to our traditional ones, our Josephine, Anthem, Arrow, stuff like that. So anyway, check out our store, and thanks again for watching. All right, stay fly, y'all. Have a great day.